the Pars are back in to second place. Come on! Alright lads, so welcome back to another video, and this one's going to be something a bit new, bring to the channel as I make the comeback onto YouTube very gradually. The schedule of the channel is kind of going to run on a basis of Fridays, Sundays and hopefully kind of Wednesday, some midweek day, but definitely Friday and Sunday. As you've seen, on Friday it was Predict the 6, that will be the kind of regular Friday feature. On Sundays it will then be this type of content where I'm going over the latest Dunfermline game, if there has been one on that weekend of course. And of course this weekend we had Morton at home, a very important fixture in terms of just mentality side of things, because since the turn of the year, that being obviously 2020 into 2021, we've not really been hitting the heights that we were at the start of the season. We started this season off tremendously and built up a really good tally in terms of points on the board in the league. But then since the turn of the year and the second quarter of fixtures, obviously the first quarter is the first 9 games, and the second quarter when you get to 18, which on the league table we have now hit 18 fixtures. I would say that the form has been inconsistent but also extremely frustrating, because it's like we go from playing very decent in one game, take the Wraith Rovers home game for example, and then you can go to games like Arbroath and Queen of the South, and even games against Morton and Ayr for example, and we just didn't seem to ever really get to the same level that we were at the start of the season. And that was the main frustration for me and a lot of Dunfermline fans of course, because to me second place is there for the taking this season. Imagine if we had turned even just 3 of the draws that we've had since the turn of the year into wins. There's an extra 6 points on the board and would be around about 9 points clear in second place at the moment. It would be streets ahead of just how we feel at the moment. We're only 1 point clear, I believe, in second place at the moment, so there isn't really that much scope for mistakes in the third quarter, especially when we're playing teams such as Wraith Rovers away from home, Dundee away from home, and I think at home as well, and we've got Hearts at home, and that's all within a week of each other at the end of this month going into April. So it's a really tough month for us coming up, but this was a good one to bounce back from in terms of that inconsistent form that I was talking about that we've had since, as I said, the turn of the year. Morton's been a very bogey team for us. I think in the previous 3 games, 2 of the game just at the weekend there, they were unbeaten against us. I think it was 2 wins for them and 1 draw, that being the 0-0 draw at Capello just recently. And they defeated us at East End Park earlier on this season, the first team to do so this season, I think back in December. That loss came. It was a disappointing result and performance that day for the team, and it was the first real show of cracks within the Dunfermline kind of system, I suppose, because the full season up until that point was a very kind of fluid team, and one that had a lot of attacking flair and was very good defensively. And whilst the defensive side of things has pretty much stayed, the goals have definitely dried up throughout the team. It was a lot of kind of Ewan Murray getting goals in the first half of the season, Dom Thomas getting the assists, Declan McManus chipping in with the odd goal, Kevin O'Hara coming off the bench and getting goals. And ever since the turn of the year, as I've continued to mention in this video, it's just not been the same. This game wasn't a high scoring game by no manner of means. We had a lot of chances and it could have been a high scoring game, but we still lacked that real cutting edge to win a game 2 or 3-0. Obviously it's the clinical side of things that we just need to brush up on, but the positive side of things was that we were creating chances. We still limited Morton to very little, which we have been doing to a lot of teams in recent months. We've got the best defensive record in the league as it stands, better than Hearts, better than anybody in the league, so we've got that side of things showed up really well. It's just the attacking side of things that we need to improve on. Craig Whiting's come in and done a really good job with that. He's proving his worth to the team, and it was a really good move for us to not only get him on a pre-contract in preparation for next season, whether we're a Championship or a Premiership team, but to also get him on loan for the remainder of this season, because I feel like we just needed that freshen up in attack. And whether Craig Whiting was for me or not in previous times when he was at Hearts, Arbroath, Dundee, etc, etc, he's definitely come into Dunfermline and proven his worth, scored the goals, and he's getting us back on track in the league. As I said, getting us into second place, going into a really tough month of fixtures and a very important month as we view towards the end of the season. We're now going to dive into a bit of a different segment within this video. Obviously, I've been very central facing EA so far, but we're going to dive into a bit of a kind of looking at the lineups, looking at Morton's key men that were in the game, the key moments and how they developed within the game, and just what I think equated to a Dunfermline 1-0 win at East End Park. Right, so you can see the whiteboard up next to me now. It includes obviously the Dunfermline lineup from the game and a couple of Morton players that I'm going to specifically talk about who were star men for them. Despite them not having many chances, I have picked out 4 players that I think had key moments in the game that ended up costing their team, or they were just looking to kind of go off of that type of play style or things like that. You'll see when I'm going to talk about it a bit more. But in terms of the Dunfermline lineup, of course, we had Dwayne Williams in goal, Aaron Comrie at right back, Ewan Murray, Paul Watson, the long-lasting centre-half pairing for the majority of this season. We had Kyle McDonald at left back because I believe Josh Edwards was out potentially with the COVID thing coming into play with Dunfermline. Obviously we had 10 days out with their squad having COVID, which saw the suspension of games against both Wraith Rovers and Dundee. So Kyle McDonald slotted in at left back. We had Stephen Whittaker in the central defensive midfield role, which has been kind of where he's been deployed for the majority of this season so far. We then had Scott Banks on the right hand side, Fraser Murray and Ian Wilson in the centre of the park, Dom Thomas on the left hand side and Craig Whiten up front on his own. Now as you can see here, I've marked Dom Thomas and Craig Whiten with a red box and a little star because obviously Dom Thomas assist for a Craig Whiten goal. That's kind of what I'm going to do in this series to mark the key moments in the game and the players that were involved in those. So a Dom Thomas cross for a Craig Whiten header that gave Dunfermline the 1-0 victory. Prior to that, Craig Whiten had missed a penalty in the first kind of 20 minutes of the game. We saw this against Queen of the South where, in fact, funnily enough, we didn't see it because the stream was down, so nobody really saw it until the highlights came out. However, that's by the by. Craig Whiten missed a penalty. It was a very poor penalty, very poorly taken. I'll show you a picture on screen just now of just where the goalie saved it. It just was a horrendous penalty. And just want to forget for Craig Whiten, although it is more positive to look at it in this way, that he's not let it affect him and he's gone on to score the winner regardless of that. The goal in itself was a bit controversial from Morton players. They were calling for an offside, but I believe this first Morton player that I'm going to bring in, their new signing, in fact, Stephen McGinn, who would have been roughly in the same sort of area as a Stephen Whittaker, his namesake. He was the one that was caught flat-footed, I believe, and kept Craig Whiten onside for when the cross came in. I'll show a screenshot of Dom Thomas when he was hitting the ball, as Craig Whiten was obviously away to jump and make the move to header the ball into the back of the net and past Aidan McAdams in the Morton net, who I actually thought had a pretty decent game. Obviously, matching up against Owen Williams, I'll put him down here just for the sake of the fact that obviously that's where the attacking area is for Dunfermline. I thought Aidan McAdams really kept Morton in the game, and especially with a save, I think it was against a Scott Banks shot. I'll show it on screen just now. A fantastic save, and one of those ones where he's really just made himself big, and because of that, it's hit a part of his body and gone out for a corner. It was a certain goal in my opinion, and it was one of the key attacks that Dunfermline had in the second half, and a fantastic save for Aidan McAdams to keep his team in the game and give them a chance going into the latter period. I just think that Morton lacked that cutting edge that they had even in midweek against Inverness, where another player I'm going to pick out, Aidan Nesbitt, scored for Morton, of course. Now, I don't know what side exactly he would have been on. I'll go for our right-hand side, so maybe the left-hand side for Morton. But I would have to say that Aidan Nesbitt was probably Morton's key man coming into this, especially off the back of scoring the winner up at Inverness in midweek. But he just simply didn't show enough for me in this game, along with the kind of other attacking player for Morton who would have been occupying the spaces between Ewan Murray and Paul Watson. Keziah Sterling, the man with the Champions League experience that Morton signed in January. I just think that the lone striker did not work for Morton here. I can understand David Hopkins thinking, going away from home, just having that lone striker up there to try and bring players into play and use his pace in some scenarios as well, but I just don't think it worked out for Morton in this game at all. That's shown by the amount of shots on target, just even possession in the game as well. They just simply did not have enough, and I think that has played a part in it, having just that lone striker up there and just feeling a bit isolated, I think, was Keziah Stelling's problem in this game. As far as I'm concerned, I think Morton should have really took more shots on the goal, because it's been shown in the last few weeks that Dunfermline Williams is not the strongest in terms of shots from distance, so I think they should have been trying more potluck shots, kind of shoot on sight type mentality, but they just simply didn't do that, and as I've said, that was probably the reason why this just simply didn't do enough to win this game. Dunfermline had the majority of chances, the lion's share of possession, and that is the main reason why they've come out on top, despite it only being a tight scoreline 1-0. I think that flatters Morton in a way, just simply down to the dominance of Dunfermline throughout the entire 90 minutes. So overall, a very important win for Dunfermline and back up into second place. The next couple of games are going to be crucial. I spoke about it earlier in the video, but we really need to start picking up points this month, and they have to be wins for me. Away games, you can take a point, but in any home game we have coming up until the end of the season, it has to be all three, because if we're to get this second place, which is very vital in promotion playoffs, not many teams tend to get promoted off of finishing third and fourth, so second place is the one for me, and I think 3 points has to be the key for any home game we've got coming up, and as I said, staying undefeated in terms of getting draws away from home is fine for me. So that's it for this video, guys. Cheers for watching. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like. Comment down below your thoughts on the Dunfermline game or the game that you watched this weekend. Subscribe for more of this type of content, and until the next video, I'll see you then. Cheers, guys.